Okay, now I did the wallpaper yesterday and we want to do a wainscot. Okay, now the wall itself is pretty good. I'm thinking of doing the wainscot without the panel behind it and just use the drywall so that everything else lines up. Okay, and so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to skim the wall to make it flat. Okay, so let's get started. If you don't have a laser level, you can do it all with a level. Okay, I'm choosing to start out with the laser level so that I can get all my points, because we have a window in the way, so I want to be able to make sure this one lines up with and that one on the other side of the window. So my first thing is we want to see where we are here. So we could go 19 inches. I want the first one to cover the line of that wallpaper. So the easy way to do it is we can shoot right on 19 inches. Then we know we could actually go lower. Okay, once you've established what mark you're going to use the laser level or a regular level will be fine. I'm marking it down the wall onto the wallpaper where I can see it. This way, when I put up the top rail, it'll all be nice and level. It'll work out very easily. Okay, so then once we complete this, we're going to put up the rail. Okay, so because we have a window on this wall, and I'm going to start the wainscot with our top run across and one on the end. But I want it to look nice, so I'm putting the one center of the window. Okay? If there was no window, then I would take the full measurement and then divide them up evenly. Okay? And if I had an off measurement, then I would make the two on the ends a different size, as long as they were smaller. Okay? So what I've elected to do is get the center of the window. I put my laser on the window. Again, if you don't have a laser, just use a 4-foot level. Just take your time and mark it properly. Okay, so I measured this one. I put the laser on, I got my center marks of what the window is, and then I'll offset the measurement off those center lines. But right now I just want my center line. So I measure from here to there. I have 30.5. So now I'm going to go over to this end and measure off of that wall and do another measurement of 30.5. I've gotten the center line to the window, okay? And so I have that centered. That gave me 30.5. I went to that corner and I pulled out 30.5. Then I took the measurement from that center point to this center point and I divided it by 3. So then what I did was, because I marked top and bottom with the laser, I then got my measurement, which happened to be 31.5, and I marked it. Then I went 31.5 again, and I marked it. Did the same thing on the bottom, And now I have my center lines perfectly plumb. I have my level line for my top. I also marked it over there. And now I'm ready to start cutting to put up the wainscot. Okay, now we're going to start the top rail. So I like to put a little glue on it. You don't have to put a lot. You don't go to the ends so that you don't squish it out. You don't need a whole lot. Get on your line. Okay. Okay, we're going to putty that and paint it. We also put the glue on it. Okay, put the glue on. Don't come near the edges because you're going to push it on. You don't want it to squirt out the top or the bottom. But put enough on there so it's going to stick very well. I'm using the Lay Tight Grab It. It really works good. I get it on my mark there where I can see it from the window, and then the mark right in front of me. Okay, tap it to the wall, setting the glue, and then tack it off. Okay, then move to the end, make sure you're on the mark. Now, I want to set that glue. Okay. All right, now the top rail's in. Okay, now I have a small piece on the end. And how I want to make sure that it's straight is that I use a longer one to put on top, slide it to the wall, don't forget to glue it. This way you're able to make sure that it's the same height. I had to tap it up. and that'll keep it nice and straight. Okay, I wanted to bring this closer to you because now I put this on here to help keep that nice and straight. Okay, so now it's straight, but it's not straight here. Okay, because when they mud the inside corner, they put a lot more mud in here, so there's a gap here, and that's right where the joint is. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. You can probably see it better this way. Okay. There's a gap here. And so I'm going to show you how to fix it. Okay, so I'm going to take a shim, put it between the two. Now it's bringing that board out nice and straight. A little bit more. Okay, I think that's good. Then we shoot it. Okay, that's nice and straight. Then I'll show you here how we cut off the shim. Get your razor knife, get right in there. Okay, and then we're going to caulk the top anyway, so now you have that cut even with the top. All right, okay, now I'm going to do the uprights. But as you can see, the base has a trim on top. And I'm not taking the whole base off. Everything I'm doing here on this wainscot is to make it a little more simple. Plus then you're not buying the panel, okay? I'm gonna put it right on the drywall because I'm trying to get everything to come as close as possible. If I put the panel on, it would bring it out further. So, what I'm doing is I brought to here so I can cut this piece of trim off. So what I need to do is get it in line here, give myself a line here and here. Okay? Now, because I'm putting that up against the wall, I need to cut that piece down, over and up, and then slide this in. Okay? So, I'll use a square to get my line. Okay. Now I'm going to cut here, cross here, cross here. All right, let's have at it. Okay, this tool works very well. It has a flat wood bit, and I use it when the wood is up against something else that I don't want to cut, and I can cut through the wood without any problem. It cuts a nice straight line. This works very well to cut this trim off of the base. I'm doing this because I want the flat part of the wainscot to come down to the flat part of the baseboard. This makes a nice clean cut. It works. If you don't want to go through all that, then you can just remove the baseboard, which is not a problem. We could have done that, but we elected to go ahead and do this. It doesn't take that much more time, and I would have had to do some more drywall finishing above the flat part where that trim was on the drywall. And when you're removing baseboard, you can pull the paper up or something that happened which will cause more work, and mud takes longer to dry. So I elected to just go ahead and take the time and cut out the trim. Okay, I cut the piece out. Now I'm going to put glue on the back. Okay. Okay, let's cut the next one. We have our center mark, so now I'm going to mark the edge. 1 3/4, then 3.5. Okay. I mark these carefully because I want to try and make a nice straight cut so there'll be very little caulk, because caulk shrinks. That's why you see on the top I used a wood filler so that it doesn't shrink as much. I want all of this to blend in nice and evenly, and I elected to cut out the trim underneath the window and the trim on top of the baseboard. This will help it to finish out nicely. I decided to leave that decorative piece. It's not a big deal if you want to take that off also. Now I did all this and I used the center of the window and go to the right to have that one size. And then I do the same thing on the other side. And then I divide them all up evenly. So they're real close. They're only an inch and change difference from the ends to the middle ones. But this all works out really good. It takes a little bit of time cutting this trim, but I wanted to make it nice for my granddaughter and for my daughter. This is my daughter's design, and I wanted her to enjoy this. All right, so continue to cut them. Take your time, work it through. This is the simple way to do a wainscot. Normally you would put wood on the back, and then you would put all the trim of the wood on the top of that. But then at that point when you do them, if there wasn't a window in the way or a door, it would be fine because you would never know the difference. This here has a window, so I elected to go without that wood so that it would bring the wainscot really close to even with the trim. And I think it's coming out pretty well. Okay, there it is. All right, now that I have them up, then I'm going to take the high points off the wall. And then I'm going to skim it. Okay, now I'm getting ready to skim the wall. I put in some joint compound. I mix it a little bit, but I'm going to show you my secret on how to get it nice and creamy and really smooth. Yes, dish detergent. You don't need a lot. Then mix it in. Make sure you mix this up very good. Can even put it in a little bucket with a small paddle and mix it up really good. It'll even come out more creamy than this. But mix it up very, very well. Okay, now once you've got it all mixed up, you're going to go ahead and get ready and start to skim this wall tight. It's nice and creamy. Okay, now that you have it completely mixed, now get like a 12-inch trowel. You don't have to fill your trowel up a lot. All you want to do is keep it very tight. Okay, so put it on in one motion and then pull it nice and tight. It'll dry faster. Okay, you can pull it in the other direction, whatever you feel like. If you're used to doing drywall, you'll know how to feel it. Get the little hitchhikers out of there. All right, pull it tight. This will dry very fast, even though it's regular mud. All right, don't play with it too much. Only do as much as you have to. It's important to keep your knife nice and clean. Okay, keep working it. Don't overwork it. Okay, don't overwork it. This is just regular mud, so it's gonna move with you. It's not gonna dry up fast. That's why I'm using it, because if I have to work with it, I will. All I'm trying to do is get all the low spots filled on this wall, so then when it's done, it's going to look like it was a flat panel wall, not a drywall partition. Okay, and you don't have to go over many times. You just need to do one skim coat, so make it look good. And you'll be able to lightly sand it. All right, this is the hardest part because I'm working around the outlet. So I'm using my 6-inch knife, doing what I can. Remember, you'll be able to sand it. I think it's coming out quite well. Go ahead and continue this process, working on all the panels, pulling them all very tight. Okay, I don't know, if you've never worked with drywall before, this is going to be the easiest way for you to start to learn, because this would be your last coat if you were doing a drywall partition. This is just basically skimming, trying to get all the low points built up and have this wall to be flat. That's what we're looking for, a very flat wall. Okay, work all of them. Make sure you have some paper down so that you don't get anything on the carpet. I put some brown paper down here, keeping the carpet clean. And just keep doing this. Remember, you can straighten it out with sandpaper, but try to keep it as flat as possible so it's only a light sand. Okay, and that's how you do it if you're not going to add the wood for the wainscot. You know, it's easier if you put the wood on and then put all these strips on. Then you don't have to do what I'm doing now. But I didn't want it to protrude past the baseboard much at all and with the trim. So I elected to go ahead and just skim it. It works really well. All right, we're gonna let it dry, sand it, then I'm gonna caulk and putty everything. Then my daughter's gonna paint it. She hasn't decided a color yet, so I'm doing this work for her, and then she'll be able to do the painting later. Okay, we now have it all puttied, caulked. It's ready for the paint. As soon as she picks a color, she'll be painting it. All right, Building with Papa. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell. See you on the next one. My daughter picked out a beautiful color. She painted this all. She primed it and put 2 coats on. I think it turned out really well. I'm very happy with it, and I hope she is too. Building with Papa. See you on the next one.